What happens when you get a freaked out, thick tongued coon and a comedian that no one seems to know on a podcast? Complete and utter bullshit. That's what. This past week, thick tongued Shannon Sharpe had Ryan Davis. Who? Who's that? Ryan Davis? Who? He's a what? You sure? I never heard of him. All right. A comedian, apparently, on his podcast show to discuss an upcoming comedy special or tour or whatever it is. A clip from this podcast episode has gone viral in which we see Ryan Davis talking about his 11-year-old daughter in a way that some people say is very derogatory. Viewers of this clip say that the words used to describe he and his daughter's relationship can be alluded or compared to words used to describe a gold digger, and that while neither Ryan nor Shannon used the word gold digger explicitly, the words used to describe this dynamic can be alluded to such. Others argue that the inclusion of Ryan Davis' daughter in a picture in this video clip is extremely harmful, seeing as how now there are a lot of grown-ass men in the comments of this clip and others calling her out of her name and saying extremely heinous things about her. The response to this clip has been very mixed reviews. On one hand, people are calling Ryan Davis out and saying that they thought he was talking about a grown-ass adult and not a 10 or 11-year-old child, based on how he was talking about her. They are also saying that the Shannon Sharpe show is not the place for this kind of conversation and that a therapy office would be much more appropriate. On the flip side, people are saying either watch the entire podcast or shut the hell up. Those people including Ryan Davis himself. Ryan Davis has come forward to defend this clip and the podcast, saying that people are stupid and misunderstanding what he's saying on purpose. Others argue that in the full podcast episode, he does atone for his mistakes and holds himself accountable for his actions and is aware that it is his fault, not his daughter's. He also claims in the full episode that he is trying to rebuild the bond and trust with his daughter as well. To that I say, if you're trying to rebuild the trust and bond with your daughter, why go on the Shannon Sharpe podcast and air her out in this way? And why okay the podcast using your daughter's photo in a clip that shows you as not being the best parent for her? This clip has sent social media into a tizzy and has left a lot of us triggered and disappointed. Hey y'all, it is your girl Cindy Noir and welcome to a special episode of the Cindy Noir Show. I want to thank you all for being patient with my last episode. I have been sick with what I think is the flu and was actively catching laryngitis in that episode. So as you could hear, as the episode progressed, I lost my voice. So my voice is not 100%, but I definitely wanted to come back and try to get better as quickly as possible because this topic that I'm discussing today, or that we're discussing today, is a topic that I did not want to miss out on. And when it comes to this Shannon Sharpe interview, which we'll get into that later, I'm not a fan of his, I recognize that I did not want to do this episode by myself. I really wanted to be able to expound on my thoughts with somebody else to kind of bounce my ideas off of. And I thought, what better person to do that with than Miss Lil Lo? I've been following Lo for a hot minute now, and I think she is extremely intelligent. I love how she breaks down different ideologies and such. And so I'm honored that she's able to be here with me today. So, ladies and gents, and thems who are all watching and listening, Lil Lo.
Hello, hello. I guess I should introduce myself. Thank you for
Yes,
having me.
please. Absolutely. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Please, you're my first guest on my show. So I'm a little
No
rusty when it
way.
comes, yes, this is a Cindy Noir show. It's my show. So it's been just me. So you are my first guest, and I'm a little new to the whole like introduce yourself, all that kind of jazz. So please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are, what do you do, and whatever else you want us to know, let us know.
Yeah, so I'm Lo. I yap. I'm half of the Let Me Stay Focused podcast. I've ventured into video essays now on YouTube because I just can't get enough of like talking and sharing my ideas. And now I'm the first guest on the Cindy Noir show. So I'm adding that to my resume.
Please do. It's
I
credible.
shall.
It's a credibility, you know?
That is the resume. That's the whole thing.
Is. So yes, you are on the show today to discuss Shannon Sharpe's most recent interview with apparent comedian Ryan Davis. I haven't laughed yet, but hey, that's, I guess,
I have not even heard of this man. So there's
I've
that.
seen him, but I have not seen him. I didn't. Okay. Apparently, he's doing a comedy tour or a comedy special that he funded himself, which I heard about that before I heard about the podcast. I thought, ooh, black man, ooh, love that for them. Pay the bills, do your own thing. Uh, After seeing this interview, though, he's blocked.
Uh, yeah. What is he
Gone. I
like
can't.
peddling
I
jokes at
cannot.
cigar lounges?
That's what it's giving. No tea, no
Okay.
shade. It's giving
Yeah.
that. But so for those who don't know, Shannon Sharpe had him on his podcast this past week. And in this podcast, which is about 3 hours long, first of all, I didn't watch it because I'm not a fan of Shannon Sharpe at all. Him or his thick ass tongue, I can't deal with. I can't take it. So I didn't watch the whole podcast. All I saw was about a 4-minute clip of Ryan Davis talking about the dynamic between him and his daughter. And when I first watched the clip, I was immediately triggered. I said, "Whoa, that sounds like my dad." I don't know. I don't know. So I said, before I hop on any kind of commentary, make any kind of video, let me sit and breathe. Let me collect myself and rewatch this to make sure that I'm not internalizing or projecting my own fatherly issues onto the situation. And so I took a beat and watched it again. I said, no, what I felt
No,
was
this is bad.
accurate. This is terrible. And so, in the video, you can see Ryan basically talking about how his daughter went from "I love my dad" to his words verbatim, "Let me see what I can get out of him." And talking about how his daughter now sees him as what Shannon Sharpe coined as an ATM, which he did not correct. And it's just talking about how he and his daughter aren't very close, but that he and his son have gotten closer and that he's trying to win his daughter back and trying to regain her trust. However, the delivery, the overall messaging, and just the tone was piss poor. It was not to me a productive conversation at all. It centered his emotions a little bit too much for my liking, and the way it centered it was making his daughter the aggressor, if you will, which
Yeah.
was just terrible. A lot of people who watched the video thought he was talking about a grown woman as his daughter, all to find out that she's 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And it has sparked a lot of controversy talking about the parentification and dosification of black girls, especially black daughters, and just talking about how there's such a disconnect between black fathers and their daughters and why that is. There's been a clash. Of course, black men are defending him and saying that, this is why black men don't tell y'all how we feel because whenever we do, y'all act like this. And, if y'all had watched the whole podcast, you would
Why
see
would I do
that.
that? Why would I do that? I'm not
Hello?
interested in this material. Why would I do that? Like,
Why I
this
gotta
is the
watch
biggest
3
joke Ryan
hours?
Davis has told yet. Like,
He
this is the
is the
only,
joke.
this, yeah, exactly. He is the joke. Like, this is what he's selling in the barbershops. I'm good on this. Why
For
would I want more
real.
time of this?
I saw so I've made a few videos myself, sharing my opinions, and I saw so many black men and women, which I'll get to that in a minute, saying things like, "You're assuming things. If you had watched all 4 hours of the podcast, you would have heard that he takes full responsibility and that he understands it's his fault." My thing is, why do we have to go to the podcast to hear you say that? In those 4 minutes, why was there never once you owning that on your own?
You should be
Why
more
do we
careful
have
about how you talk about your daughter. There shouldn't be 4 minutes of uninterrupted, problematic fucking
uninterrupted?
behavior.
And furthermore, if the podcast spliced the clip to make you look a certain way, you should be at Shannon Sharpe's throat. Like, let's say he did say in that 4 minutes that he was responsible and they took that part out. You should be cussing Shannon Sharpe the fuck out, because why is he okay painting you as a father that you're not? I doubt that's what happened, but if that is what happened, where is the animosity towards Shannon Sharpe and his production crew for holding them accountable for not only how they edited the clip, but including your daughter's picture? That,
Was unacceptable.
oh, the comment section of that clip, of any clip talking about his daughter, has been heinous. The amount of black men calling her ugly, calling her a gold digger, saying really vile, down low, just scoundrel shit about a
Disgusting.
10-year-old. Disgusting. And my thing is, where is Ryan's vitriol for that in and of itself. Because why are you including her picture? If Ryan, if you are
How did
aware
he
of
get
social
that
media,
picture?
oh,
How did
great
he get that
question.
picture?
How did he get the picture? Yes, I never thought about that. This
How the
is
fuck?
why I
Like
wanted
he
you on
had
the
to have
show.
submitted the picture.
Yes, which means you are more than welcome to feeding your child to social media wolves, which is so that to me plays into the loss of innocence and adultifying your child because why are you putting her front facing to social media like that?
There's just so much. There's like no protection instinct
Mm-mm,
in there
mm-mm,
at all. Like
not at
something should
all.
have told you at the very least, I don't want the audience of this show to be talking about my daughter.
That's what's bothering. Like for all shows to go on, you go on a Shannon Sharpe show, talk about something as intimate and layered and nuanced as you and your daughter.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I don't want to get into it too early, but I just feel like telling a nigga that you know uses his money to get young women, that your daughter is after money, is
Yes.
insane. That's crazy.
Oh Jesus.
Why would you even fucking do that?
Shannon Sharpe is fresh off of paying how many millions? 20 of them? Girlie retired. Girlie good. Done turned Jesus and everything. She set. And you're gonna go on his show talk about your child, your daughter?
I mean, unless you're assuming that your daughter's straight because she's black and Shannon Sharpe only likes white girls.
I guess, but even still, it just goes back to a lack of protection, and for him to be claiming in the clip that he's trying to rebuild trust in his daughter, I can't tell.
You're trying to
I
garner
genuinely
sympathy from
can't
the
tell.
masses. You don't care about your
At
daughter.
the expense of your daughter.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so we've discussed the overall gist of the video, and what I want to know is what were your initial thoughts of the video itself?
My initial thoughts were what I sent you, which is why the fuck would you send me some shit like this? This just pissed me the fuck off because
I,
where do you get off? Like, what does this have to do with anything?
mm-hmm,
My immediate thought was, how did we get here?
mm-hmm.
What the hell? I don't even know who Ryan Davis is. So the fact that you would think that anybody would give a fuck about your daughter, not in like that way, but like that's something that you care about when you give a fuck about the person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are you using your daughter to like personalize yourself and make people give a fuck about you? Did you consider that this is now the only thing that we know about you?
Mm-hmm. You're
And
not
like, why
relevant
did you do
enough
this?
for us to know other things. You know, like
I didn't even like, I was like,
this is
is
all
this
we
an
know.
athlete? Like, who is this? How did
Mm-hmm.
Shannon Sharpe find out about this man? And to me, that leads me to believe you was already on some fuck shit to begin with. If Shannon Sharpe's show was like, let's get you on here. And they say that if they're saying that he goes on to explain it's his fault, blah, 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 how long were they talking about this?
That's my thing because it was a 4 minute clip in and of itself, and I watched that clip and he didn't mention that in that 4 minutes. So how long was that discussed? Ad nauseum? What about
And
your
does
comedy
Shannon Sharpe
special?
have kids?
He does. This is the same man who paid 20 million to an OnlyFans model, but then only wanted to give his daughter $30,000 for her wedding. 30K. That was it. So he already does not have a good track record with his own kids.
This is the Shannon
And
Sharpe that is constantly brought to tears by his brother, right?
yes, same one.
Okay.
Same one. That's correct. What bothers me about Ryan Davis and what he did beyond just him, a lot of male comedians use the women in their lives as stepping stones for their comedy in the worst way. Gary Owens is another example to me. The way that the main reason why Gary Owens is even relevant, quote unquote, is because of his black wife or ex-wife.
Mhm.
He would not have a comedic leg
Career.
to stand on if it weren't for
Yeah.
his black wife or black kids. And he has been in interviews throwing his kids under the bus because of his infidelity and shit like that. And it's like,
Yeah, they're not talking to him.
exactly. And it is infuriating to me to see these comedians view their wives and kids as comedic content in a way that is at those wives and kids' expense. And
They're
I
not gonna
just
want to
feel
hear what I
like,
have to say because I feel the same way about the pastors in the sermons.
hello?
Stop telling all
Hello?
your kids business.
Why is that for public consumption? Did you ask your daughter if she wanted to be included in your interview? I doubt it. Did you sit her down and say, "Hey, honey, I'm about to go on this show. Just so you know, I'm going to discuss so and so and so and so. Are you okay with that?" I doubt it. So without their consent, you are on the show putting all their business,
On Front
which
Street.
front page. I can remember being a kid and hearing my dad talking about our dynamic wrong as hell to his friends and being embarrassed. It was just the friends. A couple of
Yeah.
people had a couple of ears. The
Yeah.
entire world?
You fuck up, your mom get on the phone, you like, oh hell.
Oh, you make a mistake, your mama put, girl, let me tell you what my child didn't know. Don't tell her nothing.
Like, let's keep this on the
This is
hush,
between you
the
and
low
me.
ski. What are you
You gotta
doing?
know that. The
And
entire a
then for it to be a
podcast?
parent you're not even close to. Like, it's not
Yes.
like, even when your mom does it, it's like, I love my mom. I be around my mama. You
You
know?
kind of you
Like,
kind of let it slide.
here she
All
go
right.
with
I
this.
did
Oh,
fuck up,
brother.
okay. But nigga, you ain't even around. You're not even in the house. I haven't seen you in X amount of time, and you got the nerve to sit down and talk about me like we've been talking and we've been buddy best friends. Apparently, the daughter's mother, his
Mhm.
ex-wife, came forward in the comments of both my video and Dominic Morgan's video. She came forward and said that he is talking out the side of his neck. She says, as a mother, my daughter wasn't protecting the situation at all, explaining to an 11-year-old who stumbled across her face on social media as to why her face is all over strangers' pages and why her father said what he said, when in fact she doesn't even ask him for things from him, has been the final straw. This narrative that we were together, then broken up, and the relationship changed between the two of them is all false. When she was 3, he moved away, and we never lived together. This entire thing's been very hurtful and traumatic for my daughter. I never say anything, but when it comes to my kids, I will always be vocal. So for her to come forward and say this is all bullshit,
And it's like, I have not heard of Ryan Davis. I cannot say that enough. So my question then becomes, when you didn't have shit, what was your contribution?
a dream. When I make it, I'll be able to do. When I make it, we
And
gonna get.
so, and when we come to cash in on that, that's a problem.
What's even
That's a
crazier
problem,
is
SB.
there have been more clips of the podcast that come out where he has said that she didn't want kids. She had kids for him, which, all right, girl.
Wouldn't do that.
Hey, she had kids for him, and then he up and left to go chase his comedic dreams and goals. So it's like there's apparently more to that story. I just don't know. I don't have all the verified facts, so I don't want to go give too much. But Mans has already positioned himself as somebody who is not reliable in partnership or fatherhood. And you know,
The nigga is the joke. He is the joke.
yes. And so one reason why I wanted for us to talk about this is because my father was a Ryan Davis, as in my parents split when I was 6, they divorced when I was 6, and my father and I became estranged after that. I was the oldest daughter. I was on his neck since I was 8, telling him like either you're
Mm,
gonna be in the house, you're gonna be a present dad, you're gonna be a child support paying dad. Pick one and stick to it because you're inconsistent.
yeah.
You're here one day, gone the next. I can't take it. Figure it out. I was saying that at 8.
Yeah.
But you told me that your father was in the home. So I wanted to
Yeah.
hear what your experience was and how you relate to Ryan Davis' experience with her with his daughter in that way.
Yeah. So I lived with my dad. He was incarcerated from when I was 5 to when I was 12. And when he got out, he was like, I want my kids. And my mom
Interesting.
was like, okay, what do y'all want to do? He didn't want to come back, to our hometown in Massachusetts and get back into the same shit. So he moved where his mama was, Virginia. Um, Me and my brother were like, let's try it. And that's how we got to Virginia. We lived with him like every day. And I could not imagine my dad, like, yeah, these kids are stressing me out. Yeah, these kids are acting up. But going on a fucking podcast and not only talking about me, but letting another grown man talk
Comment
about me.
on me.
I just couldn't imagine it. And so, from the perspective of someone who did, like, I can identify with how that little girl feels in terms of like, my dad is always gone. Mine was, there was no immediate hope of like, okay, well, maybe in between shows he'll come by or whatever. That is like something you have to atone for when you return. Like, it
Did,
doesn't matter why you're doing it, you were gone.
did he ever like apologize for his absence while he was away or anything?
I don't think in the words of like, I'm so sorry, but it's like, when I get home, we're going to do this. And everything he said we were going to do, we were going to do, or like, because I was also I'm the oldest daughter. And so I was
Mm-hmm.
parentified and like, you should not have to be dealing with that. That is my
Mm-hmm.
fault. I intend to rectify that when I get home. Ryan Davis never took, so I will say my dad, I don't think ever like apologized, but he definitely took accountability. Ryan
Okay.
Davis has done neither.
And let's pause at accountability for a second because there have been so many comments of people saying, y'all are being so hard on Ryan. If you watch the whole episode, you will see that he took accountability for his actions. He said that he was wrong. And I think that people have a very remedial understanding of what it means to take accountability for your actions. It's not just
Yeah.
saying that you were wrong. It's
Yeah.
doing your best to rectify your wrongdoing. And
Yeah.
if he were really trying to be accountable for his actions, he would have never talked about his daughter in that way on that show. Like, he would have never
Not
sent the
once.
picture. He would have never let Shannon Sharpe refer to his child as seeing him as an ATM without that going checked. That would have never happened. And that is what is infuriating me about people not getting the outrage. It's if you're trying to rebuild her trust, then shouldn't her comfort, her safety, her protection be of the utmost priority and importance to you? And yet your actions show the complete opposite of that. There,
Like I
for you
pay
to
for
be
the
talking
school.
about her
Duh,
for,
nigga.
and even when he mentioned that, it was like there was a tone of like you're ungrateful for all that I do for you. You know, it just
Yeah. That's it. That's exactly
mind you,
what the tone
you're the one who
was.
wanted the kids. You wanted the kids. You wanted to be able to pay for the school. You wanted to be able to pay for because they're homeschooled. You want to be able to pay for all these things. You went out. You said that she inspired you to become a better man, and now here you are. She's wanting you to be that man, and now you're resentful of that. Now you're regretful of that. Now you're saying, "I'm just so hurt that she's me as a bank." He did say that when he saw that she was having a girl, he felt inspired to go out and make that money and become a better man because he didn't want for her to be a
Yeah.
cousin of mediocre men. So the irony of you being inspired by her to be a better man and to be able to provide, and now that she's of age to ask for your provision, you're resentful?
He says that her mom put in so much time in the front end.
And
And
now he
he's
wants
like, and
time in the
now
back
I want
end?
to, does that mean you weren't around? Like
Hello?
what were you doing the entire time? So maybe I was thinking like he paid for the home and they're homeschooled, but like admitting that you were a lazy bum and that your daughter saved you from that spirit of laziness and that you couldn't be mediocre anymore. It was like, is that why you wanted to have the kids? And then that means you were expecting something out of the kid, like whether it be
Mm-hmm.
motivation or encouragement. Even the way that he speaks about like when she was young, meaning like when she didn't have critical thinking skills, I was a
Mm-hmm.
superhero.
Mm-hmm.
And now that she can think critically,
But you know, I think a lot of fathers fall into that remedial mindset of I want for my kids to be an ego stroke. I want for my kids to see that I bought them this and provided for them and go, "Yay, dad, you're so great, you're so amazing." But then, especially as oldest daughters, you know, we wear that title with blood and sweat.
yeah,
We get to a certain age where we start to notice shit. Like,
yeah,
I don't like how you treat my mom. Y'all
yep,
dynamic, I don't like how that feels. I don't like how you treat me. You
right,
pay for that, that's great, but I haven't seen you in months. I miss you. I want to be around you. And
yeah,
we begin to ask questions. We begin to say, Dad, why aren't you around? Like, yeah, that's great. You pay for the bills. Woo, okay, where are you though? Where have you been? And I think that it shoots their egos all the way down. And that loss of being seen as a superhero, they don't like that. Because
yeah,
as a child, you're supposed to be my ego boost, and that's it. You're not supposed to hold me to the carpet. You're supposed to hold me
no,
accountable for my actions. You're supposed to be blind to my mistakes and my piss poor behavior and only see the good stuff. And so I feel like part of the resentment that he may have towards her is that because he said, you know, she sees me now, and his son doesn't see him like that yet. And he even said, if only my son knew who I really was. Well, nigga, she know. She see who you really are, and
and
that's
you're
like
not
she
doing well with
sees.
that.
And you're not
And
handling
I
it
like
well.
constantly like I
I was
think
on
my
my daddy's
personality is clear.
ass.
My dad, he used to be so sick of me.
My daddy too.
Because what is going on here? Like, what are you
I
trying?
wouldn't let that nigga breathe.
There was shit one time he had called my mom in Massachusetts, like, what have we done? Because I did something. And he was like, give me your phone. And I was like, no. He was like, what? And I was like, I bought the phone and I pay the bill.
Okay.
No. Like, you wanted me to get a little job so bad. And I went out and got two jobs in high school, even though I didn't fucking need them. And so I was like, you can take my car keys, but you're gonna have to take your son to football practice. So I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
want to do that. And he was like, he had to call my mom and basically say she got me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was always, no, if this is how you purport things to work, they got to work that way for everybody.
Exactly. And I think that's also what's infuriating. It's like you created this monster, sir.
Yeah. I
You
loved
can't
that.
get that mad because I mean, hey, I wouldn't be this way if you weren't that way. This is a true product of what you've set up. Like, this is a mirror. You're welcome. I was
Exactly.
on my daddy's ass. He could not be consistent around me. I would call it out every time. You popping up now. It's been about 3 months, buddy. Where you been? I find that, especially being the black daughter of a black man, a lot of black men's anger towards women or black women gets taken out on the daughters. We suffer, I won't say the most, but we do suffer at the hands of black men's anger towards black women and women in general. And I wonder I wonder what made Shannon want to reach out to, and why did they bonded over the shitting on daughters aspect of this conversation.
The question will continue to be what possessed Shannon Sharpe to call this man? I've
Mm-hmm.
never heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
What? How did you hear about him, Shannon Sharpe?
Yeah.
Who is he? What name a movie he's been in?
I do have a question about, because I saw a few people said that when it comes to us saying that this conversation adultified his daughter, that we're reaching, and that he didn't call his daughter a gold digger, and it was Shannon that called his daughter an ATM, so that we're reaching. So I want to talk about the adultification that we witnessed, and why do you feel that he should adultify? Let's talk about all that and all, and just in general, what your thoughts were about that topic.
I feel like it was adultification because like gold digging, that's like ascribing
Let's
adult
talk about that part
intentions.
first,
Yeah.
because no one used the word gold digger. However,
Whoop-de-doo.
I heard gold digger. Like,
You know what
the
I mean? Like,
context, the wording, all can be ascribed to how they describe gold diggers. They see you as a walking ATM. They're trying to see what they can get out of you. There was this manipulative aspect to what he was describing his daughter to be that you see in gold digging behavior.
mhm.
And I feel that we're reaching an age of a lack of literacy where people are saying, unless you use the words, you didn't say that. And it's like, no,
It's the death of nuance.
there's
Yeah.
alluding, there is inferencing that can be made based on what you're saying that can be aligned with certain characteristics of a gold digger. And it's problematic.
If someone watched this episode and they commented on this episode, I'm so sick of that high yellow bitch. You're not going to say, hey, you called me a bitch.
Hmm.
And if I say, why'd you call me a bitch? They can't say, I didn't say which one of you I was talking about. Like you implied something about someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's plenty of ways to do that. And what makes it adultification is even the way that we're talking about it. Like it is a very childish and childlike thing to not understand the concept of money and just think your parents are supposed to give you things when you ask for them. That's like a thing that all
Absolutely.
children do. And so the fact that it was not just, oh, yeah, she's a kid. That's how kids act. And instead,
It's
assign some
framed
sort of
as
like,
like,
this means that she doesn't actually care about you as a person. Like they're expecting adult
hmm
level thinking and relationships from a child.
hmm
That's adultification.
and there's an aspect of shame applied to looking to your father to provide monetarily, as if that's, like you said, not a normal thing. But I feel like that shame is rooted in this undertone of, you're not supposed to look at me that way.
Well, why not?
Well,
Because
why
I pulled up
not?
text from my dad, God rest his soul. And on April 12th, 2015, he texted me, my daughter, I'm proud of you. I love you. Be smart. Don't depend on no man or woman to do for you.
Hmm.
My dad always be like, don't ask no nigga nothing. Ask me.
hmm As a
So
father,
you,
you should be proud that your child feels comfortable enough to ask you for things. If they're asking you for things, that's Did you not go out and provide because of that child? So why are we now? You should be proud that she's finally of age to be able to ask you for what you went out to provide for. I don't
Hmm.
understand how we got to a point. Well, I do understand. I think it is hitting a nerve that she quote unquote only sees you in that way. If you were wearing the other hats of parenthood of emotional safety, emotional connectivity, and presence, her also seeing you as a quote unquote ATM wouldn't hurt as much. But because you aren't fulfilling the roles in all the other ways, it hurts because you're not doing your full job. I
Yes.
mean, it's you're telling on yourself. You are highlighting your shortcomings and trying to make it her problem.
And that's what I'm saying. Even this, so I put up another one, July 7th, 2015. My dad passed 2016.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
sorry to hear that.
love you, girl. Don't let no nigga rule you. Get it yourself or ask dad. And I responded, I love you too, dad. I promise I will.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't see, like, that's a message that is one, I love you. Two, I'm here to protect and provide for you. If Ryan Davis was really that invested in like his daughter and her emotional development and how she sees men and blah 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 blah, you would be more worried about the next motherfucker trying to get over on your kid because
Mm-hmm.
she's so protected or because she's so sheltered or because you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because she doesn't have to. In theory, she shouldn't have to go get it
Mm-hmm.
because you're supposed to be her dad and she's 11.
Mm-hmm.
She can't even get a worker's permit. But
To
you talking
shame
about
her for asking for
as an
money.
ATM?
Also, Black women in general have an issue with asking men for money. That's a pretty widespread issue. And I
I
think
do
a lot
not.
of that,
I do not.
I used to. I
I
did. But it's because I too had a dad like Ryan who made the concept of asking a man for money or asking a father for money unsafe. And this going on a podcast and talking about her in this way, baby, she probably will never ask him for anything again. And it bothers me how much black fathers don't realize how their actions help to raise hyper independent women, black women. Y'all
yeah.
don't understand why we're so afraid to lean on black men, but the first men we're supposed to lean on, our dads, we couldn't lean on. And
Yeah.
so it does pain me. I saw a lot of myself in this girl and this daughter, and my heart went out to her. And it was very triggering for me because it was like, damn, we can't be 10 or 11 doing what we see our peers doing or
Yeah.
hearing what our peers do. And then we go home and try it, and our dad's scolding us for trying the same normal shit that everyone else is doing. Or going on a podcast and shaming us in front of millions of people. And it hurts my heart to know that that singular conversation has made her feel that much more unsafe with you than
Yeah.
she probably felt beforehand. It's sad. It's sad overall.
And it's whose fault is it? Because it reminds me, my dad was very good about getting on. He was good for it. Now, it didn't mean that it got the outcome that he wanted, but good for getting on like the niggas around him. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
you doing for your kids?
Mm-hmm.
And what I noticed in like, whether it be like my biological cousins, or I call them all my cousins, but you know what I mean? Like, my dad will also get on his homeboys too, is that when I would see my uncles react in ways like this, it wasn't necessarily even because my cousin was asking for something. It was because they were asking for something that my uncle could not provide.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of being mad at himself or figuring out how to get it, you're mad at the person asking you for the thing. So that
Mm-hmm.
leads me to believe, Ryan Davis, do you even got it like you say you got it? And
Mm-hmm.
instead of that, are you just mad at your child?
Yeah.
Because if you had it, what would be the problem with asking?
Yeah. It's giving a hit dog will holler. And
Yeah.
a hit dog is hollering. Like, but then again, in the interview, he said that he has mommy issues and looked at, he felt like his mom was trying to use him for his money. So I wonder if there is just an aversion to women asking for money across the board, no matter who it is. But that also leads me to my next issue, which is it infuriates me how there's such an overemphasis on daddy issues and fatherless behavior, but not nearly of enough of emphasis on mommy issues with black men because y'all be having them
Does Shannon
in
Sharpe
the
have an
room with us.
LCSW that I'm unaware of?
Okay. Is he licensed? What is going on?
Why are you telling
Like,
that to Shannon Sharpe? And what the fuck does that have to do with your daughter?
Yes, they had a whole breakdown about his mother and their dynamic and how they grew up and how she had a child. She had her first kid, I believe, at 13, and his father is very much over the age, legal age, and it was not from how it sounds, it was consensual or it was her being groomed, but yet he has more animosity for his mother than his father. And it's like, and now here your daughter is paying for that animosity. And you can't tell me that that all isn't intertwined and that all isn't interconnected.
I just don't care. When you decide to have kids, you're supposed to be accountable to those kids, which if that is your critique of your mother, Ryan
Hmm.
Davis, you should have had that money when that girl asked for it if she asked for anything.
Yep.
She's not asking you for a Range Rover, she can't drive. So what the fuck
Yep.
is the thing that you're so upset that you got asked about?
That's what I want to know. What the hell was she asking for? What could she have possibly asked for that was so expensive that it felt compelled to go on a Shannon Sharpe show to vent about? What was she asking for? School supplies?
He said, I'm sick of
Lunch
this.
money?
Apparently she don't go to school.
That girl, goddamn.
I don't even want to.
What could she have possibly asked for?
Your daughter's the valedictorian. Give her
Okay?
what she asked for.
A, B, honor roll, A, honor roll.
She's
Perfect
class
attendance.
president. She can't have the gifts that she's begging of you. What the fuck?
I just don't know what gift a 10 or 11-year-old could possibly want. Unless
There's
it's
not
like,
even.
name brand. Maybe she wants a name brand bag. I don't fucking know. But my thing is, as a dad, like, where is the desire to give her the world? The same world that you claim she blew your life up, changed your whole life when you were pregnant, when they all was pregnant with her.
But
Now
you're
all of
still
a
a
sudden,
loser.
and that's where we say that the money, you can have money and still be a loser. Money doesn't change you that much. You can make the money apparently and still have loser tendencies because I just don't understand the resentment in your child having their hand out at you. Who else do they have their hand out to? Who
But
else?
what I'm saying is, I teach people that all the time. I'm the oldest of five. My youngest sister is five. And I teach all of them. You meet a nice man, you take your arm, you stick it out. You take your wrist, and you bend that motherfucker all the way back.
Let me ask you, how early do you ask for money when it comes to a man romantically?
Like, hey,
A
can I
man
have
you're
some
interested
money?
in. Interested in. Not trying to get rid of him, but like actually interested in. I'm curious on your answer on that.
If that feels almost like a trick question, because I don't feel like if I have to ask you for some money, beat it. Like,
So they're usually forthcoming with it.
yeah, and like I don't. So this is a hard one because I had to decide that, you know what, the only way to not end up dealing with the stress of being with a broke nigga is to not even entertain them.
Hmm. Very fair.
And so once I started doing that, it wasn't even necessarily asking for money. It was like, where did you park?
Hmm.
How did you how did you get here? Let
Hmm.
me see what you came in, that type of thing. Um, and I'm pretty successful myself. So I don't ask for things, but you should want to get me things.
Right.
But my sisters aren't old enough to like be there yet. So
Hmm.
ask for some money. Either it's gonna scare them off or they got the money.
Yeah.
One of the two.
It I'm still working on it, but it's taking me a very long time to unlearn the lack of safety in asking a man for money. And it came from my dad. It came from asking him for help and him being like, I ain't got it. So,
Well, it's like
or,
inherently unsafe. It depends on what you care about. Like it might cost you the nigga, but do you want a nigga that ain't got no money?
hmm.
You know? Um, and I think it probably does come from that, like my dad being like, ask me if you need something. Now, I
Hmm.
don't want to misrepresent him. When I turned 15 and a half, every time I would try to take a nap, he would wake me up and be like, go to the mall, ask somebody for a job. Like, you need a job.
Okay.
I I
That man
don't want a
said,
job.
Brokey, get up. Go get a
Get
job.
up. Go find a job. But so I've always had like the work ethic to be good regardless. Like, and I
Mhm.
got the second job because I was like, my dad will think this is cool. But my dad also, like, I didn't have to wonder where I was going to get my first car from. He got me my first car. That came with like having to bring my brother to practice. But
Mhm.
I don't, I think I'm more comfortable with saying, like, okay, you don't have it, and I am not attracted to that
Mhm.
because I don't, nobody, including Ryan Davis's daughter, wants to hurt their dad's feelings, right?
Yeah.
So I think if you associated that asking with like if part of that unsafety is I know he doesn't have it and therefore I'm hurting his feelings by asking and I should not do that. I think that's
Mhm.
where the unsafety or the discomfort comes from. Whereas I'm fine with being like, "Oh, you don't have it? I don't like that. I'm out of here."
Mhm. Yeah. That there and that ties back into the interview because I think your dad reinforced that your emotions matter here. If he ain't got money, we don't care how he feels. We worrying about you and your experience. But from my experience, it was his emotions that came first. I
Yeah.
don't want to upset dad, so I'm going to prioritize how he feels over my experience. Same thing with what we saw with this interview. Ryan was speaking, and here's the thing about, I'll get to that in a second, but talking about how your daughter looking to you to provide financially hurt your feelings is you putting your feelings somewhere it doesn't belong. Like, you're entitled to feel how you want to feel, but what's more important is your daughter being comfortable coming to you for what she needs or problems that she needs solved. That should be more important than your feelings being hurt because of your inactivity. And we should be talking about if you want to talk about your feelings, talk about your feelings in the lens of it hurts that my lack of being a good father hurt her. That should
Yeah.
be the right perspective, not
Yeah.
how her actions that are normal actions hurt your feelings because that then tells her that how I'm behaving is a problem and I shouldn't behave this way with anybody, much as my father.
Yeah.
And it creates a dynamic where the child begins to prioritize in an adultifying way, prioritize her father's emotions and his comfort over her experience, and that is not how it's supposed to be
Not at all.
at all. And I had that same experience where my dad made me out to be the angry black woman at 10, 11, and I was
Yeah.
justifiably angry at his inactivity. But it became, you hurt my feelings. Your reactions that were valid hurt me, and that's the
Yeah.
problem. So then that became, well, I don't want to hurt my dad's feelings. So let me just stifle how I feel. Let me not ask. Let me tiptoe around him to make sure that I don't hurt his feelings. But it reverses the
Yeah.
priority to where I'm no longer worrying about my experience. I'm worrying about making sure that I don't upset him. And that translates into dating where we
Yeah.
have grown black women who are afraid to ask for what we want and afraid to prioritize ourselves because of how we were accustomed to and raised to be. It's ass backwards. And
Yeah.
that's
And
not how
I'm
it should be at
laughing
all.
not because it's funny, but because it's absolutely ridiculous. Like
Mhm.
children are selfish,
Yes, they're
right?
supposed to
That is
be.
a fact. It's a
Yeah.
known stage of development. Like children are selfish. They're not, if you're expecting them to like think about you as a parent and put you first and this, that, and the third, you're making a terrible mistake.
And you had kids for the wrong reason.
You had kids for the wrong reason.
Hmm.
So, like, what the hell?
But that's an example of having kids for an ego boost and not to actually raise adults or looking at kids as ego boosts and nothing more than that and not the actual humans who need different fundamental things taught to them and guided through with you as a parent. I think a lot of men look at kids as puppies and as a thing to just gas them up, make them feel good, and that's it. And the moment that their child brings any emotion outside of them feeling good about themselves, it's a
Yeah.
problem. And it's the kid's problem to fix and not the grown ass man's problem to get a hold of his feelings and emotions.
Yeah. And I think I told you this like, my dad was someone who like people did like hyper lean on. And I
Mm-hmm.
will say, in some cases, used. And one day he was very upset about that. And he's like, everybody's using me, even y'all. And I said, we're your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the end of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't have to have a prolonged conversation. You may be right about everybody else. You're supposed to do for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you want me to like feel bad about this because I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And you shouldn't. But I think Shannon Sharpe's got a beef that he's trying to work out through other people. I don't think he wants to come forward and say it about his own kid, but if you're saying he wanted to be cheap about her wedding
Hello?
and you want to
Hello?
be this like traditional man, this like protective provider, you want to expect these things out of women. Okay, well then tradition is bride's parents pay for the wedding, which is a
Yep.
stupid ass tradition. But
But it is tradition nonetheless. And it honestly makes me wonder, did his daughters call him to the carpet behind the scenes in response to this whole 20 million OnlyFans debacle? Did they hold his feet to the fire and he just mad and is just finding ways to get that anger out or some shit? Because I know for a fact, if my father was pulling teeth to pay me $30,000 for a wedding and he turned around and spent how much money on
on the
some white
white girl.
heifer? Oh,
But that's why,
he would
you
not
know,
hear the end of it from me. Oh
we
my
do
God.
have a lot to say about the person I'm about to mention. Uh, and I think that all we have to say about this person is valid. But like when you see Stephen A. Smith's relationship with his daughter, they have a good
They
relationship.
do. They do.
You can
I
tell
actually like the dynamic a lot. Yeah, they
their
do.
dynamic is hysterical.
Yeah.
And honestly, with all his kids,
Yeah. But there's a safety present that I really,
yeah,
that's
there's like
palpable.
a,
Yeah.
if you can make fun of your dad to your dad, you're not inherently afraid of like, oh, I'm gonna get cut off, or oh,
Yeah.
like if I act in a way that they don't appreciate, this threatens me financially. And I think that there might be some means of like expecting to be able to be controlling over another human being because of
Hmm.
how you provide for them. And I think that that's honestly what Ryan Davis was saying from like, I used to be a superhero. She was daddy's girl into like, now she's asking me for shit.
Hmm.
And it's like, well, if you don't treat me like, oh my God, every time I show up, then I don't really want to give you shit.
Hmm.
And I think that's
Yep.
the quiet part out loud.
Anytime a black father says she only calls me when she needs something, or I only hear from her if she needs some money, that's a dog whistle. What did you do?
When is you calling her?
What happened, sir, to make it that way? Because no child comes out the womb just like that. They get to that point for a reason, and nine times out of ten, that reason is your actions or lack thereof, sir. You can't convince me otherwise. I've yet to see any active, present dad saying the same shit. They're
Never
not
seen it.
saying that.
Never
They're
seen it.
not, no, no. Especially not of an active dad who respects and loves women. They are
Mhm.
not throwing their daughters under the bus. They are not framing their daughters in ways to subject them to internet scrutiny. They're not doing that.
Yeah, no,
I could never see Stephen Smith talking about his daughter the same way that Ryan talked about talking about his daughter. I could never see that happening. Like,
no.
I just, whenever a man is careless with their daughter, to me, it is safe to assume that you don't like women.
Yeah.
You don't like nor do you respect women. You have an issue with women because if you did not, then you would understand the inherent automatic need to protect and keep your daughter safe.
But that's supposed to be an instinct.
There should be an
That's
instinct.
what's sending me over
Yes.
the deep edge is like, we shouldn't even be having this conversation because this shit shouldn't have occurred to any of the men there. What am I
You
going to
know
talk
what's
to you about my daughter
crazy?
for?
I have, so the men in my family, for the most part, are piss poor. They're just not good men, and that's what I was raised around. So I
Sorry to
thought
hear that.
for a very, very long time that that men just aren't good. And it really wasn't until within the last few years that I've made intentional, active, with come out with therapy effort to surround myself with better men that has been mind blowing. Because to be around men who like and love and respect women, It's like, yo, that's how it is instinctual to protect,
Yeah.
to keep sacred, to even black women, even dark-skinned black women, they're treating like
Yeah.
delicate beings as we should be
Yeah.
treated. And to see it in real time, it is earth-shattering to realize like, wow. So when a man really does like, love, and respect women, it is second nature. There is no need to explain to them why I need to be protected. They're just protecting. It's
Yeah.
in them, not on them. And to see that and to be around it has been healing for me, but also heartbreaking because it's like, wow, me and a lot of other black women can attest to that level of feeling exposed when safety is
Yeah.
not in the room with us with men in your family especially, that there's a exposure you feel of, I'm out here just ass out.
And
I
they
can't depend, I
prey
can't
on that.
lean. Yes,
They
yes,
prey on that. I cannot tell you how many men I could
yes.
tell through our interactions when they would find out that my father is dead. They would be like, "Oh, this is one that has like dad issues.
Yep,
I'm gonna try this, that, and the third."
yep.
And it is constant having to inform these men. First of all, you got to get the fuck from around me. I don't like no shit like that. But second of all, this ain't what you thought it was. But the fact
Yep.
that you're even looking for that is disgusting.
I was men's playground in my early 20s. Oh my, they had a field day with me because I was just raw in the daddy issues and was looking for love and all. I mean, I was prime suspect for that kind of foolishness. And to be 29 now, whole different place of life, looking for healthier connections and healthier examples of love from men especially, it is insidious to know and to look back and go, those men saw my wounds and saw a playground and did not see that. They
Mhm.
saw that hurt, they saw those issues and saw fair game. And it's sick. It's sick. And
Yeah.
to see those wounds being created in his daughter through that interview is what I think hurts the most.
Yeah.
We are often punished for the wounds these men create and then
Yeah.
prey on. And it's like,
And you should have
what,
known better and done better and this, that, and
we
the
should
third.
have
Nowhere in
known
there is
better.
that
You
that
should
man
have
should
just,
not have been doing no
and it's
shit like
like,
that.
damn. At what point did we have a fighting chance? Was it when we were 10 and our dads were punishing us for being kids? Was it when we
Yeah.
were 18 and we're trying to figure out how to date when our family never taught us how to date? At what point
Yeah.
do we get a break to be able to say that we didn't know any better? It's just,
Hmm.
it's sad all around. And I've seen so many black women making videos in response to this interview who are triggered and can relate to having that kind of dad and talking about, the pain of having to get this shit out the mud and figuring it out for ourselves
Yeah.
because our dad didn't figure it out for us. And so I do have a question.
Hmm.
If you could give those black women any advice, any words of comfort or anything in lieu of this conversation, the black women who are triggered by this conversation, the black women who saw their dads in Ryan Davis, what would you tell them? I know it's a pretty deep question.
Tell that nigga business on Facebook. Tell that
Okay,
nigga's
air his
business on
ass out.
Facebook. No, for real. Because I was just gonna say when you were talking that like all of my worst situations happened right after my dad died. Like
Mhm,
it was just like, what am I gonna do? They can see that distress and prey on it. So I'm not saying that to say that I've never run into nobody trying to get over on me.
mhm,
Um, but I think that there's a lot of like what you were saying, where it's like I'm shaming you for feeling this way about me that protects these men.
mhm.
Like when I was back home and I was working in Boston, they used to have this thing called the deadbeat directory. And you could go to that website and put that man up there. And we need to go back to doing that.
Yeah.
We need to go back to doing that. Tell that nigga's business. I'm
Mhm,
so sorry. I don't think that there's anything that we can do to shift the culture except for reinflicting the shame. And I hate to
mhm.
say it, but if they were going to self correct, they would. And they're just refusing because we've tried to do it. I feel like we've tried to do it through like the circle of homegirls. And there's always a girl that just like, oh, they mad because I got a man. We're just going to have to do it where you type the man name in and it's 30 people saying he ain't seen his kid in 6 months. And here's how that's impacting my child.
I think we all need therapy on
Yeah.
some real because I know for me, what has gotten me, I am, when I tell y'all I'm clocked in my therapy sessions, I be clocked in. Like I'm getting paid for this shit because I am adamant that I refuse for my dad, for his behaviors to win in my life to the point where I don't live, to the point where I don't get the things that I want because I am just riddled with the pain of his experience.
I mean,
And
have you confronted him?
hope, yes.
I know, like over the course of
He
it,
and
but like,
I, no, no,
nigga,
no.
now
So
I'm in therapy because
So
you
he
acting a
and
fucking way.
we reconciled in 2020, and for 5 years, that was the only time in my life that he and I had been consistently in contact with one another. But it was painful for me because in order to be with him and in community with him, I had to deny a lot of my honest and my truth to be around him, and it was eating me alive for 5 years. And so last year, Father's Day, exactly to be exact, I wrote this long letter saying everything about how I felt about our dynamic and everything, and that I had not been talking and saying out loud in the 5 years, and called him up and read it to him. And one of the things I said was, I know you love me because I'm your daughter, but I also know you don't like black women. Therefore, you can't like me. You and your mother have a lot of trauma there that you have not worked on and healed from. And I feel that as your daughter. You're distant with me, we're not really connected together, and I'm sick of that. I feel like I'm paying the rest the I'm
For
paying
something
for
I didn't
that
do.
dynamic that had nothing to do with me. And I told him, you got to get therapy if you want for us to be close. I'm in therapy right now. I'm doing the work, but you got to meet me halfway, and that half is you getting some help for yourself. And until you do that, we won't have anything because I cannot take feeling this pain that isn't my pain. So no, I lovingly let him know that like I can feel this. I've been feeling it this entire time and didn't know what it was called as a child, but I know what to call it now, and it's just not right. And until you learn to love and respect black women, I can't be close to you. So since that I did that last Father's Day, I feel so much better, which is why another thing I would say, like, tell these niggas how you feel. Write them a long letter. I read it to him over the phone and sent it in the mail so you can have it in writing, so you can know exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Um, Free yourself of that pain. A lot of the pain that they projected onto you was not your pain to be. It wasn't yours. It wasn't even about you for real. It was about
Yeah.
your mother or their dynamic or his mother and their dynamic. It wasn't even about you directly as a child. And yet we're carrying around that pain as if it's ours. And part
Yeah.
of letting it go is giving it back. Give it back to that nigga. Give it back to him. It's not yours. Give it back to him. And so I gave it back to him and working on releasing the rest of the pain ever since, but I would not have been able to release any of this without giving it back in a
Yeah.
way, shape, or form. So, yeah,
And
if
what
you
is
were
he doing
triggered,
about it?
we haven't talked. We have not talked since. So it's safe to assume that he hasn't gotten therapy. If he has, I don't know about it. I don't know anything. And that's okay. If he leaves this earth and we don't have anything again, at least he knows how I felt. That's what gives me solace because up until last year, I had still been prioritizing his emotions over mine. I
Yeah.
was still worried about now. I didn't want to be seen as an angry black woman to him again. I didn't want to come across as just bitter and angry. So I was so worried about how he saw me and all of that that I was stifling everything in the process and was killing me. And so reading that letter and doing that whole thing was me reversing the prioritization and prioritizing myself once again first. And I would implore any woman who watched this interview and was triggered to do the same shit. Give them men back their shit. It's not yours to hold on to. It's not meant for you to go without living a fulfilling life because he didn't know how to love you properly, you know? A lot of these men have mommy issues and have black women issues in general. That's not your problem.
Yeah. And
Don't
that's
hold
a lot
on
more
to it.
wise than put him on blast on Facebook. So,
Well, I mean, however it manifests, however that comes across. Maybe it's doing it on Facebook. For me, it was reading a lemon letter that was more personal, more direct. But
yeah.
whatever that is to you, release it. One, two, three. You know, like
1, 2, 3, release it.
release it for real. You're holding on to it and not dating, or dating wrong, or married wrong, or now the mother of kids to a man that's wrong because you're
To be
holding on
fair,
to
I
pain
don't know
that's
if you
not
could date right.
yours.
It's scary.
You know, I would
Yeah.
say it's not so much dating right, but dating smart, right? And
These niggas
you date
dumb.
dumb when you're holding on to pain that isn't your pain. hey, date smart, let go of that shit so you can be able to date smart and date more aware. And so, yeah, that's just what I would say is this interview was a pain point for me. It was very hard to listen to a dad talk in ways that my dad has talked and to know that this poor child is being thrown to the wolves in that way. And I know that I'm not the only woman that saw that and was triggered by
Absolutely.
it. And I hope that we're taking care of ourselves, we're getting therapy, we're talking about, we're journaling about it, getting those emotions out because it's hard. It's hard to be a parentified daughter trying to navigate the world as an adult because we all have that inner girl still in us. We're still sitting there.
Yeah.
She's still, a lot of our inner daughters are still wanting to know what was so wrong with us that our dad just treated us this way. Wasn't nothing wrong with you, girl. He just wasn't shit.
And that's what
give
I'm saying. Yeah.
him, give that to him. You were a beautiful black girl. He couldn't handle for whatever reason, and that was his problem, not your problem. And I hope that through therapy, more of us are able to recognize that, realize that, and stand in that.
And Shannon Sharpe is not an LCSW.
Not at all. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share? Any last thoughts, commentary, thoughts, and opinions?
Yeah, who the fuck is Ryan
Who
Davis?
is he?
Who is he? It's
But
despicable.
I do want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for
I am
having me.
Thank you for being patient with me being sick, girl. This was damn ridiculous. Before we go, Lo, can you tell everybody where to follow you, what your podcast names, and everything again for those who didn't hear the first time?
Yes, I'm everywhere at Lil Low Worldwide. I know the double L's be fucking y'all up. So it's LIL, another L. Oh, the word
Lil Lo.
worldwide. Yes, Lil Low. Worldwide, everywhere. Not the rapper from Baltimore that I learned about recently. And I'm also half of Let Me Stay Focused, the podcast. It's spelled exactly how it sounds. Everywhere we're at Let Me Stay Focused, myself and Big Shot Shay. And we have new episodes every Wednesday.
Y'all be sure to follow that podcast because you might see my face on their show very, very soon.
Yes,
All right.
ma'am.
Thank you again. I hope you all enjoyed this episode and stay tuned for next week. But in the meantime, y'all be blessed and bless up.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.